For so many years, I've shared with individuals that when growing in containers, you need to make sure you fertilize your citrus and your fruit trees every month. Now, there comes a time when fertilizing them every month, well, it has a different meaning when the fall, autumn, and winter months come around. Fruit trees, you're literally going to stop feeding them fertilizers. You can just throw a load of compost on top of the container for fruit trees and they'll be fine because they're going through a semi-dormant period. But when it comes to citrus trees, you hear people talk about feeding them every month because, well, once again, I've taught that. The problem here is you ever notice that during the fall, autumn, and winter and early spring months, no one talks about feeding their potted citrus trees again. It's too cold for most of us, too much rain, and for some reason, people just simply get lazy. Let me share something with you. When you go over to your citrus trees, you'll notice whether they're grown in containers or a contained space still being grown in the ground, you'll notice how much of the soil has receded. 4 inches. Similar to the containers, about 4 inches. That's how much compost you need to replace back into your containers to ensure that your citrus trees are getting a nutrient-dense, rich, substrate. In this case, soil. This is very important. Now, some of you may say, well, what about the pH? Don't we need to control the pH, especially when it's being grown in the ground? Absolutely. And you do that by making sure you simply put your fertilizer here and then you cover it with compost. Now, I want you folks to look at this really close. Now, you see this tree? It's got feeder roots. You see those feeder roots right there? Right there. Now, look at how far the soil has come down. From here to here. It was never at the top. But if I really want to make things a little bit better, I can do one of two things for these because these are smaller containers. I think 15 and maybe 20 gallons. I can simply, because the soil mass have coagulated into the root ball. So I can take this trunk, pull it up by loosening the entire root ball and then putting compost at the bottom and sitting this right back on top. Or I can simply add more compost to the top. But nevertheless, to control the pH, make sure you add your fertilizer here. And fertilizers that's made for acid-loving plants. The reason why you want that is simply because it's going to keep the pH right where it needs to be. Other than that, you're good to go. The compost will leach every time the sprinklers come on, and your fruit trees and your citrus trees, in this case, will get a feeding quickly. As far as the fertilizer, it's going to take time to break down. Organic fertilizers, that's just the way it works. Until next time, you do that and you get this.